Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to be taking a look at another mini foldable e-bike. This is the SOHAMO A2. Before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Hit that thumbs up button and also ring that notification bell for future notifications of our videos. All right, so let's get into it. So we actually had one of these on the channel before, not from SOHAMO, and we actually like the compact size of these, and functionality is good as well, as long as you're on the smaller side. So let's talk about this bike. So this bike weighs 52 pounds, and it is foldable. As you can see, the latch system in the middle. This bike will fold all the way down to a nice compact size to fit in your car. Like we said, this is a mini foldable e-bike. So I think the key here is the size. So just to throw in the back of your truck, throw in the back of your car, this thing is very portable. Now, as far as the weight limit goes for this bike, the weight limit is 220 pounds. So unfortunately, I cannot get on it because I weigh 260 pounds. So it would actually be unfair for me to test ride this bike and show you how it performs because I am over the weight limit. You have a 350 watt motor, which does a pretty good job of moving people along on the smaller side. My wife was actually able to go on this bike and take it for a spin, and it did pretty well. And she actually mentioned that it has more torque when you pedal than it does with the half throttle that's on here. So it's a 48 volt e-bike, and this one is actually the 16 amp hour battery. And they say you can get up to 40 miles of range. And obviously that's probably a little on the high side. And we're talking about different factors here. So if you're going up hills, a lot of hills, depending on your weight, your size, how much pedal assist you actually use, that's gonna all factor into how much range you get on this bike. So we have the 16 amp hour battery. And as you can see, that's 768 watt hours. This one comes in at $599.99. They actually offer a 12 amp hour version of this as well. And that comes just under $500 at $499.99. This battery is fully removable. It comes with a 2 amp charger. And to turn this bike on, you actually need to stick the key in. So there's actually 2 sets of keys with this bike. One that goes in the ignition to turn on the bike, and the other that you can use to remove the battery and also turn the battery on. Now, if the battery isn't on the on position, the bike will not turn on at the ignition. All right, so just keep that in mind. Here is your charging port. It does come with a 2 amp charger. To remove the battery, you're gonna want to get this clamp off, and the seat will come all the way up. We're gonna loosen it here. And you can actually remove the seat as well. And this actually speaks on how customizable the size for this bike is. You can pull the seat all the way down or all the way up, depending on how tall you are. So they say anybody from 5'2" all the way up to 6'5" can fit comfortably on this bike, but I'm gonna have to disagree on that one just because I'm 6'2", and even just sitting on the bike, it's really hard for me to pedal. So I would probably say 6 feet or less would probably be the recommended size limit for this bike. So you pull the seat out, and then also to remove the battery, this has a nice handle on it. You would take your battery key, which is this one, put it in there, and then you would push in a little bit, and that goes all the way to the left, and the battery then comes out. And you can take that inside to charge. There is a little plug that you have to plug the battery in as well. So we'll lock that into place and take the key out. Put the seat down here and adjust to your liking. My wife was on here last, so it's a little on the small side. Lock that into place. You do have a rear seat for a passenger. Like I said, you have to be awfully small and awfully light to fit someone else on this bike with a max capacity of 220 pounds. So me being 260 pounds, I can't even ride this bike and be under the max weight limit. So you'd have to be pretty light to have someone else sit on the back as well. You also have rear suspension. It is a 1-speed, so you get 1 gear for pedaling. And I really don't think that this bike is really made to pedal that much, but you may be comfortable with it. You do have 14-inch tires along with these fenders to keep the mud off of you, but I feel like the mud is gonna hit this as well, so this can kind of act as a fender. You do have a tail light. There's a SOHAMO branding, the smaller size crankset. The pedals do fold as well, so you push those in, fold them up. You can fold them back up as well. This bike does have mechanical disc brakes, so obviously at this price point, they're not going to have hydraulic, and they work decently well. You also have your front tire as well as your front fender. Not too much protection in the front. You've got a headlight, and you do have a dedicated button for your headlight, which I'll show you in a second. You've also got front suspension. This is where your handlebars will fold. Pull this off, and these will fold down. Clamp it back in to hold that in place. You have your adjustable handlebars as well. You can also adjust the handlebars with this clamp. Take that off, and the handlebars will go up and down. Let's talk about the handlebars next. You have your left brake lever with your semi-hard grips. You've also got a horn button here, your headlight. Click that to turn it off, and then click it in to turn that back on. You have 3 levels of pedal assist, and this is actually the first one, the first bike that I've seen where it's an actual switch for your pedal assist. So you have 1, 2, and 3. This switch is a little cheap, so I would guess this would break pretty easily, so just be careful with it. But I see after probably a couple hours of use, this may be the first thing to break on the bike, to be honest. On the right hand side, you have your ignition with your key, and this is on the on position. You can see your battery level. You have 4 bars here. You have your right brake lever, and also your full throttle here. Obviously at 350 watts, the bike is not very torquey, but on some flat level, especially someone on the heavier side, this bike should do just fine, going up to 15.5 miles per hour. So guys, honestly, who would I recommend buy this bike? It would have to be someone on the smaller side. Smaller as far as height goes, and smaller as far as weight goes as well. I would probably say you want to keep it under 175 pounds, ideally, to get the most power and the most range out of the bike. But performance, anything over 200 pounds for a rider, honestly, is not going to be too good. But I could see this being an attractive option for someone that wants something portable and to just throw in their car, especially with it being a foldable model, so you just pack up and go. Definitely not going to be your off-road or hilly vehicle. But if you guys have any questions about the bike, please leave them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. But until next time, thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Peace out.